Hello, Tar Heel Nation. Welcome back to the UNC Hoops Talk podcast. I'm your host, Dan DeWitt, and I thank you for joining in, listening, watching, however you're taking in the podcast, and helping me to unite Tar Heel Nation. It is that time of year. It is the best time of year, March Madness, the NCAA tournament, and probably even a little bit past because the first weekend is usually the best, although I don't know if this weekend is quite as good. Maybe it's because I wasn't around and ready. I didn't get to see a whole lot of the games, but it seems like we had a lot more chalk than we do most years. Probably not the most ever, but a lot of chalk and not as many buzzer beaters. We had a few upsets, but not. I mean, we ended some close games and some even games that came down to the wire to the last second, even. But just didn't seem like we had the excitement or the buzzer beaters that we've had a lot of years. So in that sense, not as good a first year. Again, maybe I feel that way because I didn't get to see as many games or hardly any games. But as for you guys listening to this, all that matters is the Tar Heels are moving on. They're in the Sweet 16, the record 29th time ever, and we're still playing. We're still alive. So yeah, we're looking like a big-time contender. And that's what we're going to talk about this week. Obviously, we're going to look at the Tar Heels' first two games this week. I don't know that I'm going to spend a lot of time looking at other past games. Like I said, I don't feel like there was a ton of great games. We, of course, will take a look at looking ahead for the Tar Heels and what we got next in Auburn and then possibilities of the Elite Eight. And then also look at kind of other matchups going on in the Sweet 16 and possible Elite Eight matchups, and of course how that affects the Tar Heels or looks for the Tar Heels. So that's all I got. Again, thanks for joining. I hope you are subscribed. I hope you will share this with friends, family, anybody Tar Heel related, or even not. This time of year, we talk about even more than the Tar Heels. So yeah, share it with everybody, and mostly let's unite Tar Heel Nation. But enough babbling there. I guess I just feel like I got a lot to say since I missed that week, and it's such a big week. I didn't get to reveal my bracket. Hopefully you got to join the UNC Hoops Talk podcast bracket challenge. And yeah, let's jump into these games. So we're going to start off, of course, the Iona game. I didn't get to watch in this game. I have it taped on DVR. I need to watch it here before, but I don't know. It's not a very pretty one. I got to follow along somewhat to the score. I was kind of in and out of having service. First half seemed pretty horrendous. We were losing by, I think, 5 at halftime. I think it was the score, 38-33 at halftime. Again, following the score, I didn't necessarily feel like, oh, man, we're going to lose this game. Of course, it started to creep in my mind the longer we went on in the first half that we were behind. But again, being down just 5 at half, it's like, I mean, we can take care of that lead pretty quickly. And it seemed like we did. Trying to think when we went on, our best scoring run was 8 in the first half. Our biggest lead got up to 20 with 6 minutes left in the second half. But I do feel like we tied it up pretty quickly and took the lead fairly early in the second half, and then didn't relent, and we got up, like I said, by 20. Ended up winning by, what did we win by? 15, 88-73. So yeah, not a lot I can say about this game having not watched it, besides what the stats saying. We shot 47% from the field, shot 32% from the three-point line, 73% from the free throw line. They shot 40%, 37% from three, 93% from the free throw line. But first half to second half was drastic. They shot 47% from the field in the first half, 32% from the field in the second half, 48% from three in the first half, 25% in the second half. And kind of the reverse for us. We shot 33% in the first half from the field. We shot 63% from the field in the second half, 23% from three in the first half, 44% in the second half. So right there kind of tells you, I don't have all the other stats broken up first half to second half, but we did out-rebound them 52-26, so we doubled up on them there. 20 offensive rebounds, just allowed 2 to them. Again, kind of what you expect, 116, and we're just overmatched talent-wise, physical-wise, all that stuff. 16 assists for us, kind of down. 12 turnovers is about right where you'd want to be. You don't really want any more than that. Let's see. What other? I don't know. I mean, as far as team stats wise, that's about what we look at. I don't know that I have. I don't think. Yeah, I don't have any like second chance. Oh, there's second chance points. We had 25-3 in the paint. We outscored them 48-10. Turnovers were even. Fast breaks, we didn't kill them. Bench points, 23-11. Again, we start to build a lead. And really most of those were Nasir, I believe. Nasir had 19 off the bench, so all but 4 points off the bench there. So obviously a good game for him to start off his NCAA tournament career. He was actually our second leading scorer. Cam Johnson led us 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists to 1 turnover. And then Nasir was 19 points, 4 rebounds, couple of turnovers, but overall really good game for him. Shot 9 for 13, so efficient as well. No 3-pointers is. I don't mind if he takes 1 or 2 if he's wide open, but I mean obviously that means when he's not taking any, he's attacking the basket and doing what he needs to do. So speaking of which, Cam Johnson was 7 for 13 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and then after Nasir we had. Luke May, 16 points, 9 rebounds, so 1 rebound off a double-double. Didn't shoot great, 0 for 3 from 3, 6 for 16 overall. And then Garrison Brooks had 10 points, 8 rebounds on 4 for 8 shooting. And Kobe White had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a couple of steals, and only 1 turnover. So pretty good stat line to start his NCAA career as well. His points, obviously, we know could be higher, but with 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and just 1 turnover, you'll take that. Shot 4 for 14 overall, 2 for 8 from 3. Did find his stroke a little bit better or a little bit more against Washington in the second round, but good start there. Kenny Williams, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover. Again, didn't shoot great, 3 for 8, 1 for 3. And then, like I said, Nasir's all the points off the bench except for 2 from Sterling Manley and 2 from Brandon Huffman. So kind of unexpected from those guys too, but like I said, I don't know if they – well, Brandon Huffman only played 19 seconds, so that was obviously late in the game. And Sterling Manley as well, only 1:36. And that's the thing, if you listen to the Inside Carolina Basketball podcast, Dewey Burkus kind of talked about the timeouts being a minute longer than normal, halftime being 5 minutes longer than normal, which kind of hurts us because we like to get into people's bench, tire people out, that kind of thing. But it also does help with the guys that are playing major minutes for us. Kenny played 34 minutes. Cam 32 minutes, Kobe just over 31, Luke about 29 minutes, and Garrison almost 27 minutes. So off the bench we had Nasir at 17 minutes, Brandon Robinson at 11.5 minutes, Seventh Woods 8 minutes, Leaky Black just over 5 minutes, Playtech just over 2 minutes, and the rest is pretty much garbage minutes, cleanup minutes. But we can rely more because seventh, especially in the I can't talk again about this Iona game, but in the Washington game, did not look good in the backup point guard position. He's responded well in past times when he's not played well. The next game he's had a good game, but it's looking like we need Kobe White to play 34 to 38 minutes, and then hopefully Seventh Woods doesn't do something really bad in the 2 to 5 minutes that he's playing. And it allows us to do that. But like I said, it also takes away from what we want to do to other teams. But we moved on. We did what we needed to do against Iona. We did not drop an egg and lose to a 16 seed, aka Virginia last year. But we move on. We played the 9 seed in Washington, played a zone. Obviously, they have Jim Boeheim's old longtime assistant, associate head coach. Mike Hopkins, I believe, is his name. But yeah, playing a zone very similar, if not exactly like Syracuse does. So we've seen that a lot and had success against it recently. And it continued in this game. Seemed like kind of just a business-like win for us. I don't know that we went on any huge runs. I guess since our best scoring run was 13, about halfway through the second, well, about a third of the way through or fourth even the way through the second half. Our biggest lead did get up to 25. We ended up winning 81-59. Doubled them up on rebounding again, 48-24. 15 offensive rebounds, but that only turned into 17 second chance points. But Were not a good rebounding team coming in, and they kind of proved that. Only 4 second chance points off of their 8 offensive rebounds, and like I said, only 24 rebounds overall. Turnovers, we had too many in the first half. We had what was it? Points from turnovers. We got 17, but they got 24 off of our turnovers. We had 10 in the first half, which kind of kept them in it. But then we just only had 5 in the second half, which was big for us. We led 41-33 at half, and then, like I said, there wasn't any huge runs. I guess this 13-point run here in the second half, but we just seemed to kind of casually and consistently kind of push it out, and then eventually got out of reach for them. But we shot the ball pretty well, 51% overall for the field, 43% from 3, 80% from the free throw line, and pretty balanced. We had Luke May 20 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks. We had Nasir Little again off the bench, 20 points, and it was 7 rebounds. He still had 3 turnovers, but a block as well. Was really aggressive in the middle of that zone. Let's see. Then we had Cam Johnson, 13 points. I missed Kobe White, 17 points, which he actually started off the game really well and really hot, hitting threes. He was 6 for lunch shooting overall, 4 for 7 from 3. Still had 6 rebounds again. Only 2 assists this time and 2 turnovers. But Cam Johnson kind of filled that void. Like I said, 13 points, only 3 rebounds for him, but he did have 7 assists to 0 turnovers. And then Garrison Brooks only ended up with 5 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, but only played 20 minutes as he missed a good stretch of the first half there after he took an elbow, which I don't know how that elbow is different than, I know there was 2 games in a row where 7th Woods got called for a flagrant 1, pretty inadvertent. It seemed like he didn't even see the guy. The guy was behind him, kind of reaching in, and he's running and gets a guy with an elbow, gets called for a flagrant 1. Here, the post player sweeps through, gets Garrison with an elbow into his mouth, actually lost a tooth, and it sounded like chipped another tooth, had to get stitches in his lip. I don't know how that's not a flagrant 1 compared to what we've got called for this year, but it wasn't, and he missed a good chunk there, but showed some grit coming back out in the second half and played most of the second half with that. And Roy even said he'd have to get some dental work before they left Columbus, Ohio, to head back to Chapel Hill. But the stats aren't there, but Garrison kind of showed his toughness and his grit and kind of how much we need him there. Kenny Williams struggled again, but only took 3 shots, 1 for 3, 0 for 2 from 3, 2 points, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 steals. He went out for a little bit with on TV. They said it ended up just being a cramp, but Roy Williams, I think it was, in the post game said it was kind of a hamstring strain. So something we'll have to keep an eye on as we go. Brandon Robinson stepped up in some minutes for Kenny there when he was out. Again, doesn't necessarily show in the stats, but played over 15 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds, couple assists, and really played well in there. And then besides Nasir and Brandon, let's see, 7th had 4 minutes, Leaky Black 3.5 minutes, and again the rest is kind of just a minute of cleanup and garbage. So nothing flashy here, nothing spectacular against Washington. We didn't shoot exceptionally well, but again, we took care of business, and that's this time of year. That's what you do. You survive, you advance, you win, you can move on, and we're now in the Sweet 16. Obviously, matchups were a little bit better this year, but we did what we couldn't do last year. We can match up and keep winning to move on. So now we move on to meet Auburn, which will be kind of an interesting matchup. Because Auburn does like to run, get up and down. They don't have a real inside presence. They are more kind of spread you out and move you around, get on the run. We know how it ends up for a lot of teams when they run with the Tar Heels. I should mention this game against Auburn. We play Friday, March 29th. It'll be a 7:30. They put 7:29, but 7:30 Eastern tip. On TBS. It is in Kansas City, so in that sense, it's good that Auburn beat Kansas. We don't have to see Kansas in Kansas City, and we know kind of the struggles Roy's had against Kansas since he's left there. Not that I was overly worried about this Kansas team, as as they kind of showed against Auburn. They're not that good, but I think we'll take Auburn. They're definitely a solid team, but like I said, when teams run against Carolina, it usually doesn't fare well for them. So I guess we'll see how we take care of business here. But 7:30 tip. I'm assuming there's a game before that one on TBS. So we'll see if it actually ends up being 7:30 or not. If it gets pushed back a little bit, but should be pretty close because Houston and Kentucky play after us at that site. So we're first game at that site. So it should be fairly close to that starting time on Friday. We play defense like we have the later part of the season, and we shoot the ball like we know we can. And like you said, if we worry more about us and take care of what we can do, I think we'll be all right. Not saying it's going to be an easy win or an automatic win, but I feel like it is a game we should win. Obviously, as the 1 seed, we should. But a lot of people looking at this one and I'm not saying it's going to be an easy win, but a lot of people are worried about this. So, we do have to come out and take care of business, and hopefully that kind of keeps the guys focused as well. Hopefully they hear a little bit of chatter of, Auburn's going to upset North Carolina, that kind of thing. But and obviously at this time of year, there are no easy games. Anybody you play is won 2 tournament games now and is playing well and has some momentum. And so we just got to hit them in the mouth first and just keep on swinging, I guess. Because it won't get any easier as after this either. The other half of our region in the Midwest is Houston and Kentucky. Obviously, we lost to Kentucky earlier this season. Their big guy, PJ Washington, hasn't played yet. He'll get reevaluated halfway through this week, so before they play Houston. But obviously, if they don't have him, it's going to be issues for Kentucky. They almost lost. Who did they play? Wofford, I believe. And really, if Fletcher McGee kind of hits any shots, they probably lose to Wofford. But I don't think they get past Houston without PJ Washington. We'll see if he does play, kind of what shape he's in and how that foot is. I don't know exactly the injury there, but we'll see there. But those are kind of our matchups. Houston, again, likes to run a little bit and solid squad, but really I'm confident we can beat any of these teams. Obviously, Kentucky has beat us, so if they get there, maybe they have a little bit of confidence. They know they can beat us, but I think Kobe White is developed a lot since then. He's really come on the second part of the ACC season, so he's kind of a different player, and I don't know. I wouldn't mind really a rematch against them. I think we can take them out, but all these teams, I feel very confident that we can beat them, and it's more about making sure that we stay consistent. We come out and play like we know we can. So, we'll see from here on out. Anything can happen, and we're playing good teams with all the chalk that's happening. All the top seeds that have won. I think 1 through 4s have all won except for Virginia plays 12 seed Oregon, and no, that's it. Well, and then ours, I guess Auburn's the 5 seed. They beat the 4 seed. But otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4 all won except for Auburn beat Kansas, and then Oregon. I don't remember who they beat. They played Irvine in the second round, but who'd they upset in the first round? 5 Wisconsin, and then Kansas State was the 4. They got upset by UC Irvine. So other than those 2, it's 1 through 4. So you kind of expect especially those 1 seeds to win. Virginia to beat Oregon, but you're going to play, from here on out, the top seeds are going to play a 2-3 for sure. And then in the Final Four, you're going to have pretty much a 1 through 4 for sure, 1 through 3 probably. Looking at other regions, I guess we'll start with the top. Duke got completely, lucky and helped out by the refs, and however you want to say that. I missed that game. I saw the beginning, and UCF was playing well, and it's like, God, I need to watch this game. But followed along, people were messaging and letting me know that Duke should have lost. It should have been a charge on Zion, and how UCF doesn't get one of those shots at the end to fall is kind of amazing. But the committee is happy, I'm sure. And Duke moves on. They play Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech beat them this year, but and it was without Justin Robinson for Virginia Tech as well, but it was also without Zion. So there's the whole asterisk thing there, and we'll kind of see how they can respond here. And really, if you can get Duke, they don't shoot the ball great. We've known that. Besides the one game against Virginia where they shot really lights out to beat them, they have not been that good of a shooting team. Force them into those and keep them out of transition. And you got a chance, and then you got to keep them off the boards, especially Zion there. We saw how that hurt us late in the ACC tournament. But obviously, I expect Duke to beat Virginia Tech in that matchup there, get some revenge. LSU, Michigan State. LSU has surprised me. I didn't pick them to get here this far without their coach. They're playing pretty well. Michigan State's playing pretty well, minus the whole Izzo going off on his freshman escapade, which I don't think is that big a deal. But I do have, as far as, since I didn't get to reveal my bracket before this, I had Michigan State coming out of the East region. So that's still alive for me. We'll see. I think I had them playing Duke even in the Elite Eight, but let's see. Yeah, I guess I do. I have my bracket open here. So my whole region there is still alive. In the West region, we got Gonzaga against Florida State. I believe I have Florida State. Yeah, I had Florida State getting this far, but they've been playing better than I've kind of anticipated. So I think they should give Gonzaga a pretty good run there. That should be a really good game. I did pick Gonzaga to win it. And then I had Texas Tech playing Nevada here in the Sweet 16, but did have Texas Tech winning. So my teams advancing are still alive here in the West region. And I'd actually picked, let's see, who did I pick coming out of there? I did pick Texas Tech to beat Gonzaga out of there. I don't want to see a rematch with Gonzaga in the championship game for the Tar Heels. I think they'd have, not that there's more motivation because you're playing for a national championship, but they still have Josh Perkins. They still have Tilly, the guys that lost to us in that championship. And I just don't want to see that again for them. But yeah, that's who I got coming out of there. Texas Tech, Michigan. Again, Michigan, I had them losing Nevada. Nevada looked terrible in that first round. Michigan's looked decent. I do think Texas Tech with their defense can kind of take control of that game and beat Michigan. And obviously I hope that, because that's what I picked. Virginia, Oregon. Virginia shouldn't really have any trouble with Oregon. They should move on. And that's who I did have moving on there. Purdue has looked really well. I did not have them. I had Villanova beating Purdue, but Purdue just kind of killed them, and Carson Edwards went off for 42 points. But I did have Tennessee. I have Tennessee going to the Final Four. I have them beating Virginia because I didn't want the Heels to see Virginia and kind of a hungry. Think of the storyline of, we saw North Carolina lose in the championship, go on and win it the next year. Virginia could go from losing to a 16th seed, the first team ever to do that, to go on and win a national title. I don't want to be a part of that storyline. So I want Virginia to lose there. I had Tennessee beating them. Tennessee have a solid squad, but I think the Tar Heels could take it to them. And I'd rather have a team that isn't familiar with and doesn't have the success against North Carolina that Virginia does in the Final Four there. So that's what I got coming out of the South region. We talked about the Midwest. Of course, I got North Carolina coming out. I have Houston beating Kentucky. Again, maybe because I don't want to see Kentucky, although I do feel like we could get some revenge on them. But you have to, again, remember the Luke May shot. I don't think any of these Kentucky players were there, any of the significant playing ones anyway. But, that shot would be shown to them. And, we just don't need any of that. Again, they beat us earlier this season. I think we could revenge that. But I think Houston can take control and beat Kentucky there. So, yeah, like I said, my Final Four is Michigan State against Texas Tech, with Michigan State beating them, North Carolina and Tennessee, of course, North Carolina winning that. And, again, I don't necessarily love seeing Michigan State in the championship. In 2009, obviously, it worked out for us. None of those players were a part of that team, but, it'd be talked about and stuff. But, I think we could get out and run and really take it to Michigan State. For the Tar Heels, I think kind of what it comes down to is Kobe White. He is kind of the catalyst in leading this team and all that. But it's as he goes. So he needs to be hitting shots. He needs to be taking care of the ball. He had a couple of careless turnovers against Washington, but I think he is playing exceptionally well. He knows when to attack, when to slow it down a little bit, when to take that shot and stuff, and he can hit the tough shot. So I do like our chances. I love this team. Of course, it's going to be tough to see them lose. It's going to be easy to cheer for them and push them through. So let's hope that happens. Let's hope we survive past Friday so we can play on Sunday against either Houston or Kentucky. And yeah, this is a good place to do it, is to kind of rally here on the podcast and with other Tar Heel friends and fans and all that stuff. But that's kind of my look at the bracket. I'm getting pretty long here, but quickly before we go, I did want to, as I always do, jump into the comments. It looks like we got a decent amount here. So J Money Henderson said, "What's up?" Andrew Braun says, we're looking like the best version of our team right now. Yeah, especially with Nasir coming on, I think we just look that much tougher and that much better. So we need that to continue. We need him to continue to be aggressive, and then obviously to stay healthy as well. But Carl says, "I love Garrison's game now. He is a legit center." The thing with him, I think, is that he just plays his role so well. He's not trying to force and score points and show people like, hey, I don't have to be in this role. I can score. He's just fitting right in and doing what he needs to do, kind of give us that toughness. Carl says, "I knew we would beat Washington easily, but I fear Auburn. They have won 10 straight and can score. They won the SEC tournament. Very solid team." They are, but again, like, they like to get up and run, and we've seen how that works out for teams. So again, I don't know. I guess I'm not as scared as a lot of teams. Maybe that's a bad thing. And not that I don't respect that they're a good team. I just think, teams that run with us don't have good success. But we'll see here. Carl says, "Nothing would make me happier than beating this year's Duke team for a national championship." It would, but I would. Oh man, that would be an insane game. The fourth time meeting, we beat them twice, but we lost when they had Zion. It was close. The hype that they would get being in the championship, and then it being the first time ever Carolina and Duke met in the NCAA tournament, let alone for a national championship. I just don't know that I want that, and I'm ready for it. And then if we were to lose, obviously, yeah, we win. That's just the ultimate. But then if we do lose, it's kind of the reverse of that. So I don't know if I can take that. It would really, really hard on nerves going into that game and throughout that game. But Andrew Braun says, "Auburn is tough, even more so because we don't guard the three well. That will be the key." Yeah, we've done better, in past seasons and even earlier this season. We've shown that, but nobody's gone really off on us that recently. So, not that it can't happen, but Carl says, "Lastly, I thought Garrison did a great job against Duke. When he fouled out, I got a bit nervous." Yeah, you could kind of tell once he fouled out, it was kind of game over. Not that it really was, but it was definitely a turning point. I think that if he wouldn't have fouled out against Duke, we could probably have won. Totally agree with you there. Andrew Braun, "Auburn doesn't rebound well and has little inside game. We should dominate both. All comes down to the transition D and the threes," which again, I think is kind of in our favor there. But we'll see here. Bimmer Guy 09 328 says, "They looked great. Nasir is coming on perfect time. We got to handle Auburn. It's going to be 3-point battle more than likely. I have us and MSU in the championship game. UNC 2019 NCAA champs. Let's hope so." Obviously, we're all cheering for that. And then I'm not going to pronounce this guy. I know he's back. He's commented before, but he says, "Katz has us as number 1 of the remaining 16. Hope we prove him right. Go Heels." Yeah, that means very little to me, what Andy Katz is saying about us right now. But Auburn has looked great. Focus upon and beat Auburn. Yes, we definitely have to take it one game at a time. And he says, "Thanks for the update." Andrew Braun says, "At the ACC tournament, Magic Johnson was sitting and watching. Fans kept yelling at him. That's Kobe with a C." Tar Heel Nation says, "I said these were the worst bigs Carolina ever had. I take that back. Garrison Brooks is stepping up." Yeah, for sure. And I think I kind of corrected you when you said that, but big on you to come back and say that. And then he said, the guy before said, Magic Johnson has the movie rights to the story of that J-Mac kid who's on the autism spectrum and scored 20 in 3 minutes. He needs to make that movie. Okay. Andrew Braun says, if Kobe plays as well as he has and Nas keeps giving us energy off the bench, will be really good shot at Natty for sure. And then the guy whose name I cannot even try to pronounce says UNC is better, or UNC is greater than Duke for the Natty. Yeah, I mean, if it gets to that, let's hope so. But all right, that looks like all of our comments. I don't think I missed any there. Thanks for that, guys. I do appreciate the live part of this podcast and getting to interact with you guys, even if it's only a little bit at the end. It's just all so hard with how delayed they can be to try to get them in the actual show. But I do appreciate you guys commenting and questions and all the stuff that you do there. Yeah, that's, I think, all I got. We will be waiting for Friday. Let's share this podcast out with other Tar Heel friends and family. Make sure they get to hear it, and that we can unite Tar Heel Nation. And then hopefully moving on to Sunday, and then I will podcast again next Monday. And we'll of course talk about the games, looking back at them, and looking forward to hopefully what will be the Final Four with the Tar Heels in it, and then hopefully I can podcast before the championship game there. We'll see. I don't know what that weekend looks for me. It's too far off yet. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys here. Thanks for watching, listening, however you're taking this podcast. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you are connected with me on social so we can talk through the games and stuff like that. But that is all I got. I'm signing off here. Until next week, go Heels.